I remind myself almost every day when I have business choices and decisions and ideas I remind myself of a lot of these kind of boundaries that I've set for myself, and they help me to make decisions that keep me healthy and keep my business healthy. One of the things I really like to do is go as slow as I can. Go as fast as I need to, but go as slow as you can. So this is one of the trails that Chacho and I hike pretty much daily. I used to ride my bike a lot, and then once I got Chacho, I needed to change my exercise routine because we both need a lot of exercise. So we hike in the foothills up to the Sandias, and then also sometimes at the top of the Sandias. I try to get it in almost every day before baking. Since I have such long days, 12, 13-hour days, it's really difficult to get exercise or any sort of like lifestyle stuff in. So this seems to work out. My name is Jacob Topper. I'm a local sourdough baker and fermentation specialist in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I moved back after being gone for about 10 years. I went to LA for audio engineering school. At that point, I had been a musician for the majority of my life. I had kind of built a career for myself in LA in the dance music scene with drum and bass and dubstep. I had to take a step away from music. I kind of got burnt out, which I never really thought would ever happen. Certainly put everything that I had into that path and those ideas, and then found myself in Albuquerque and noticed I had started getting a deeper appreciation and understanding for food and how really every culture on the planet speaks through its own food and is able to communicate without words but with food and experiences and sharing a table. And I said, oh wow, okay, this is really interesting. This combines so many different aspects of creative culture, but in a really different way, and it's within a delivery system that everybody on the planet experiences, whether or not we acknowledge that. Everybody eats. Good morning. It's all locally sourced, vegan sourdough bread.
Do you do carts?
Yep.
The Tamaya blue corn.
Absolutely. Be 13. Saturday morning at Robinson Park in Albuquerque, downtown, at the Downtown Growers Market. Today is a special event, and we have some ladies on stilts. But I'm just here slanging my bread as usual. It's really fun to actually be at the Growers Market and interact with a number of different people. One of my rules for myself and anybody that's working with me at my booth is to simply say hi to everybody that passes by. Good morning. These are locally sourced sourdough breads making fresh with flour. Hi, puppy. Good morning. Every single person. You're not trying to outwardly make a sale. You're not trying to kind of hawk, but you just simply say hi. Good morning.
Sorry. Can I have the...
Yeah.
This is the biggest treat to me.
It just smells amazing.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I
Cool.
love it.
Cool.
The last time I had it, I ate it.
Too quick. Yeah, that happens.
But thank you so much.
Welcome. Enjoy. Good morning.
Good morning.
What can I do for you? Yeah. It'll be 13. So the tagline for my company is cultured food for a cultured life. And that goes two different directions. One is the culture of the microbacteria that is actually fermenting all of my products, but also culture in our everyday lives and how food intertwines with the culture of everybody that exists on this planet. Yes.
Is there a way to get a half?
Not currently, no.
So how much?
16.
It does freeze.
It freezes very well. I do suggest.
Chili in my freezer. There's no space.
Oh no!
And you have twice as much food in that
Yes.
as you do in one of these. And the density of it is such that...
And so this time I finally got a hold of teff grains, so I have teff in there instead of the quinoa, and I think it makes it almost, to me, has almost a rye character to it. So the difference between sourdough bread and a conventional bread is going to be that sourdough is always made with a levain, a natural sourdough starter. So it's just a combination of flour and water that the yeast and bacteria that's on the flour and in the local environment then ferment into a starter which leavens the bread. A lot of people that are into fermentation get to the point where they kind of talk about it where you're not really cooking anymore, you're managing a relationship, and you're managing not just a bacterial culture, but a kind of a human culture. You have this relationship with these microorganisms, and the better you take care of them, the better they take care of you. This mixer makes life really helpful. This I mixed by hand this morning, and I let the dough sit for 3 hours to allow the flour to absorb water, and then it creates what we call extensibility, so you can kind of stretch the dough, which is super handy since I use really high protein flour, which means that it makes a lot of gluten, which means that it tends to be very tight, which is good for hearth bread, but you also want to make it flexible enough that you can actually shape it. What I'm doing hasn't changed very much in 1,000 years. It's growing grain, turning that grain into flour, adding water and salt, and then manipulating it with your hands. So these are my Tamaya blue corn loaves made with freshly milled, locally sourced blue corn flour from Tamaya San Ana Pueblo. And I try to use as many local grains and heritage and heirloom grains as I possibly can. They're both healthier for you and also supports the local agriculture business, which I'm very into. All of my ingredients are non-GMO and all natural. As many as possible are locally sourced within New Mexico and southern Colorado, including any additions. This is the chile con queso, chile rojo con queso, red chili and cheese. So this is red chili sauce I made last night. I'm using sharp yellow cheddar from Tucumcari Cheese Company. So I'm not the first person to make sourdough bread locally, certainly. And there are a number of really fantastic local bakeries, especially sourdough and naturally leavened bakers. I've been trying to specifically cultivate relationships and build a community with all of them. Anybody that will talk to me and will interact, really. So my business and my whole lifestyle right now wouldn't be possible without strong culture and support from the local community. One of the most amazing things has been happening over the past year and a half or so. Chef Mark Quinones from Mas Tapas y Vino, which is a restaurant at Hotel Andaluz, he was really interested in going down to the growers market every Saturday, and he would make a dish that would go on the menu for the night based off of all the local ingredients that he would get. And after talking for a number of months, we decided to start supplying him in the restaurant with my Tamaya blue corn sourdough bread, which now is available on dishes across all of his menus, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert. They're really, at this point, kind of in history, there's very few things that we as humans are gonna create that is the first time it's ever been created. There's just about almost nothing that I do is unique. So there's no secrets per se. And you're only gonna get better and stronger if you share what you know. And the same that if I share what I know with you, you share what you know with me, we're both gonna be better. And we're both gonna be able to create something better.